Good evening, another quick video for you today. Moto GP game test on budget laptop, £500, was purchased in 2021, but you can still buy them the same spec with the GTX1650 and probably the slightly newer i5, the 11300H or whatever, but it'll be similar. And they do come with 144Hz monitor now, the Msi GF63s. So I thought I'd see what sort of frame rates that can pull on this particular game. If I take the V-Sync off, obviously you can see the graphics card is getting very hot there. It's running at 87 degrees C. And also the CPU's working fairly hard, but I've got it on one of those laptop trays to try and keep it cool. However, I wouldn't recommend running without some sort of frame rate cap on a laptop like this, otherwise you're just going to wear your components out much quicker, because laptop parts tend not to last as long as desktop PC parts do. Anyhow, you can see here on 720p, high settings, the machine's capable of running at about 100 FPS, maybe a little bit more, so it can make use of that 144Hz screen. To be honest with you though, and it will play 1080p, I would say, because it's only a 15-inch screen, 720p is good enough. And yeah, I mean, most of the time I just run at 60 frames a second, because this particular laptop's only got a 60 FPS screen. Here we are, 1080p, medium settings. People with better eyesight than me probably would want to run 1080p. Obviously I had to turn the settings down a little bit to get a faster frame rate. I think it will still pull 60 FPS. It'll pretty much hold 60 FPS on high settings, but obviously if you want to get the higher frame rate, which some people might, then you are going to be better off with the medium. What I will say as well, what I have noticed is the 1% and 0.1% lows tend to be higher when you do release the frame rate rather than having the V-Sync, although in terms of what it looks like in the game, the smoothness is about the same whether you have the V-Sync on or off. Right, we'll be at the end of the video in a few seconds, and I don't particularly like the way this game plays out of the box, but I have managed to get the settings so it plays fairly well in terms of how the braking and everything feels. Believe it or not, this is the first time I've ridden in the Moto GP class. It's just on arcade, not arcade, quick race settings. I think it sets the difficulty to 80. So I'm obviously not playing that well here, just well enough for you to see what it will play like. We should go on to the settings any second. Plenty of bikes on the screen as well, so it doesn't give the CPU or GPU an easy time, which obviously it would do a bit more so on a clear track. Okay, about the settings quickly. What I've done, I've shown you where I've got the rider aids, which is basically pro settings but with some sort of corner modulation, I think set to moderate, and literally the semi-automatic box. Otherwise it's the same as pro. And then on the suspension, that's just a base setup that will work on pretty much any bike in any class on any track, and then you've just got to tweak from there. And I tend to like really short wheelbase and that for quick steering. I like to have not any preload on the front, lots on the back as well for the same reason, and then I keep the rebound levels at max to try and stop so much in the way of wheelies and the back lifting up. In the wet, you're going to want to have a bit more on the side of the wheelbase and everything. But anyway, there's a base setting for you.